Modern work culture encourages people to respond quickly, complete many tasks, and remain permanently available. The dominant assumption is that more effort, more communication, and more visible activity will lead to greater achievement. However, this model often produces the opposite result. Instead of meaningful accomplishment, it leads to fragmentation, stress, and burnout. A different approach to productivity begins with a simple observation. Most important work requires depth of thought, time for reflection, and sustained attention. When attention is constantly interrupted, the quality of thinking declines. Complex problems cannot be solved quickly, and creative insights rarely appear under conditions of constant pressure. Modern knowledge work increasingly suffers from what can be called overload. Workers are surrounded by messages, meetings, updates, and administrative tasks. These demands consume cognitive energy, but rarely contribute directly to meaningful progress. As a result, many people spend their days reacting rather than creating. The experience of productivity becomes an illusion based on visible activity rather than real accomplishment. A more sustainable model focuses on the idea of slow productivity. The central principle is that valuable work develops over longer periods and requires deliberate pacing. Instead of maximizing the number of tasks completed in a short time, the goal is to concentrate effort on fewer meaningful objectives and allow them to develop properly. One key idea is to reduce the number of active commitments. When too many projects compete for attention, none receive the depth required for real progress. Limiting commitments creates space for concentration and reduces the cognitive load created by constant context switching. Another principle involves respecting the natural rhythm of intellectual work. Creativity and deep thinking do not operate according to rigid schedules. Insight often emerges gradually through cycles of effort, rest, and reflection. Allowing time for these cycles improves the quality of outcomes. The slow productivity approach also challenges the belief that constant availability is necessary for professional success. Many communication demands are driven by social expectations rather than real necessity. Establishing boundaries around communication protects time for focused work and prevents attention from being consumed by minor tasks. Historical examples of scientists, writers, and inventors reveal a similar pattern. Significant contributions rarely result from frantic activity. Instead, they emerge from sustained engagement with a limited set of ideas. Long periods of concentrated effort, combined with rest and distance from constant noise, allow complex work to mature. This perspective reframes the meaning of productivity. The goal is not to appear busy, but to produce work that has lasting value. Achieving this requires patience and deliberate prioritization. Important projects need time to evolve and cannot be rushed without reducing their impact. Another important element is the recognition that burnout is not simply a personal weakness. It is often the predictable outcome of environments that demand constant responsiveness and excessive workloads. When individuals attempt to meet these expectations indefinitely, their mental and emotional resources eventually decline. Slow productivity offers a practical alternative. By focusing on fewer priorities, protecting attention, and allowing sufficient time for deep work, it becomes possible to achieve meaningful results without sacrificing well-being. Progress may appear slower in the short term, but the quality of outcomes improves substantially. The broader lesson is that productivity should be measured by the significance of what is created rather than the quantity of tasks completed. When work is organized around depth, patience, and clarity, people are more likely to produce ideas, solutions, and contributions that endure over time.